Henry. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all the time. Wait, what? I seem to get nerves down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Oh, all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. That's my line! Good morning! Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But we're back! But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here we am again in this hellhole! Can't keep going to court! I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Also, maybe he just has bad luck in the UK. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Yes, morning. So, here we are again. This might not be the time for happy. Yes, again. Judicial Assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires, what's the bad news? Oh dear, you heard, did you? I haven't. You'd be coming shouting at the top of your voice. People can hear! Can't help hearing what you're saying! Oh, I'm sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Miss Susato. Now, what is it? Oh, boy, the music. Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial... Is it Mr. Longlegs? Will be led by Lord... Called it! Lord Barock Van Zeeks. Wait, Barock Van Zeeks? Same dude? Van Zeeks? No! I can't remember. Was his first name Barak or Barak? I'm so used to his last name. So-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Soseki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth. Yeah! We managed to pull through, but still. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter. After all... Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says... Nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zeeks is the prosecutor. Unless they're genuinely innocent? Oh no! That even if the person is not found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. Whoosh! A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal. Right here in the Old Bailey. Also he was guilty. Like, actually guilty. Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes? Boring it to my soul again! Cursed by evil spirits and out by the Reaper! Oh, pair of petrifying perils, potentially! Well, if it's potentially... At least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume. Hold on, mate. Excuse me, sorry. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I'm innocent! You have to believe me! You more than anyone now! Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well... The trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean. Hey Virgil! How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing alright. That's probably for the best. Oh. he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zeeks were to notice, he'd prey on him mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo. You're right. Yes, you're so right. Well said, local student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Well said. I swear on the sword at my side and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free. With honor. Oh, yes. Glad to hear you're doing alright. Wait. It's the exact same jury! Well, maybe one person is different, but... Why? Is this supposed to be a different person each time? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned. Nikon camera, friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. It's not just my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zeeks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. He's racist! It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. Yeah, we had, like, the dude I'm defending, he's been accused of crime twice now. First time he was innocent, second time here, he, like, supposedly for poisoning. The person survived, but they're accusing him of doing it. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. Yet now he's back in the courtroom. Though for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Soseki-san's trial. Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? They're not chosen at random, it's the exact same group! Absolutely, I had a feeling this larrikin wasn't innocent before. I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right. Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing a hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. Whoa! I'm not good at accents yet again. Also, who's this lady? I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. I couldn't agree more. I need to take on 5 bob tonight or the missus will go through the roof. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's the exact same group, minus 1 person. It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public. And that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. 6 citizens of London, chosen at random. Or at least, that's the idea. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, when possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Why? Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zeeks, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nickelback before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime. namely that of attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. There were multiple people in such a tiny room? Also, are you calling the person who survived the poisoning? Whee! Free cloak for everyone! The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector, Scotland Yard Homicide Division. Soseki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student and study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume. Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken. Are you sworn an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again? I remember it as if it were yesterday. It was yesterday! The day before, in fact, my lord. But close enough. Believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. The incident occurred at the Garadeb household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare. The defendant had already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine? That name sounds familiar. Hold on, I got my phone on me, so let me... Strychnine... It's a white, odorless, bitter, crystalline powder. Excuse me. That can be taken by mouth, inhaled / breathed in, or mixed in a solution and given intravenously. The strong poison, only a small amount is needed to produce severe effects. Used as a rodenticide. It was for rat poison? Huh. Causes muscle spasms, muscle cramps, stiffness, tightness, agitation, heightened awareness and responsiveness, respiratory failure, stimulation-sensitive seizures, and possibly death. Oof. Yay, no more studies. Break time. He was found in the following morning when the landlord, suspected something was wrong, broke down the door. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. What about that cat? Okay, the windows were bricked up, but there was an opening if you moved some of the bricks, so if you're small enough, maybe. Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell the tale. He very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. What is... Okay. Okay, two things I'm noticing. There's a puddle on the floor and some weird thing in the guy's neck. That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what it was. Can I get that photo, please? Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Hold that thought, Judge. What is that a stamp? Or some sort of floor thing? Also, this puddle. Dr. Mr. Natsume? Yes! Yes! As a defendant, do you have anything to say at the juncture? They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits.
Good gracious, what's haunted?
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me! What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times.
Killed Mr. Notchimer? How?
Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, oh no. I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me! Gas leak?
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Notchimer.
But it's so cold! My runny nose would freeze! The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed?
Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal. And he has named the true culprit. Ah, bugger. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief! Order! Order!
Yeah, that's the crux of this whole case. Technically it's a second time, but yeah. If Soseki-san is innocent, then why? Why is the victim accusing him?
Well, Mr. Notchimer, whatever you say to this accusation?
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I brought bottled water, especially to make it. Maybe there was a certain kind of tea, like a certain ingredient that he was allergic to? And this is the result! Never will I touch tea again! Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objections?
None whatsoever, my lord.
Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now.
Yes! The catastrophic night. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. My tea was completely harmless! He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guests left. The argument still stands.
Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward.
Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of poison, haven't they? They were? It must have been when we left. Why didn't I think of that? Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to.
Did I hear correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance.
How could you have overlooked that? Isn't that the first thing you should do? My feet hurt friend is falsely incensed. No, really, my feet hurt. Like, I'm at a standing desk, which I know standing is healthier, but at the same time, my feet. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? Is it because they drank it all? Simple enough. There was none left.
Not a drop.
What about the tea ring? Like the ring of tea? Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances.
We only need a drop.
That one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. Lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question.
I see. Thank you. The matter is clear.
Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend.
Nanny?
You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. Also, the juror number 654, the fancy lady, she kind of reminds me of I think her name is Audrey Hepburn, or my brain is failing. Like the leading lady in the Titanic movie, like when she steps out of the car in her very first scene. That's what she reminds me of. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity.
He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me.
But I can't let them beat me down. I won't.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Okay, my lord. Hold on 1 second.
Hold it!
Were you and your neighbor good friends then?
Ah, no! We weren't friends! Not at all! Not at all! Never! Ever!
A simple no would have sufficed. Also, I think this is making him look even worse. Like, oh, you're not friends? Oh, that's why you poisoned him. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit?
Mr. Shamspare fancies himself as having a great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together.
Come now, no nice forehead could understand the finer points of English literature. And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume.
It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. I just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Shamspare outside on the street. That was around 6. We exchanged 1 or 2 pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No! Not 1, not 2, not any! Not at all! Never! Ever!
A simple no would have sufficed, I feel.
Same.
Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room.
Hold it!
A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said.
Shakespeare? Oh, a very worthy topic of conversation, I must say.
I thought he was about to say, who's
Shakespeare?
Oh yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet! Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Crap, it's been so long since I last read the play. Like, are we talking physical strength? Because if so... Well, I know Romeo killed a guy. Juliet, as far as I know, she doesn't have... Aside from her whole self-deletion, she did ingest a poison that only knocked her out for a few days and she woke up perfectly fine.
Romeo and Juliet?
Who was stronger? I know I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go?
Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment.
Is that what happened? He drank what Juliet drank to knock herself out for a few days, and that's what happened? So we battled it out! In a Greco-Roman style, naturally. Romeo and Juliet never actually fought each other, right? Huh? Mr. Shamspeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest. So when you say a reenactment, you mean you were cosplaying? He as Romeo, I as Juliet, and after a vigorous wild tussle, I as Juliet came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever.
I dare not imagine the terrible sheen of carnage.
I don't know, Juliet would be the stronger one since, like, you're not the actual characters, you're just playing them. The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. Was tea expensive back then? I know there was the whole Boston Tea Party thing and raising the prices, but like, was a similar thing going on in Britain at the time? It's true. There was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room.
I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly.
So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion?
My tea was harmless, of course it was!
Can you tell us what kind of tea? I'm curious, was it, like, green tea, chamomile tea, or chamomile, however you pronounce it? Rice tea, or...
And do you have any basis for that statement, witness?
Hold it!
Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fella had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Must have been some really good tea. This gun is harmless. Technically, there's no gun in this case, but yeah. Like, this gun is perfectly harmless. It doesn't, like, it shoots bubbles. No, it shoots bullets. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze for poison. And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume. Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that, as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night.
And how was the landlord able to attest to this?
The gas.
He, said it was the lamps, I believe.
The gas lamps.
The lamps, Inspector?
When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garadeb seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants.
There's only one key to Mr. Shamspeare's room, I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room.
You need a key to lock it from the inside? The victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes.
So I'm right! My tea was harmless! Completely harmless! If you take poison, you die! Everyone knows that!
Depends on the kind of poison. It's not that simple, I'm afraid.
Wait?
Hold it!
Also, regarding poisons, like, I'm pretty sure, in a way, not all of them are fatal. Like, I don't know, like, say you give someone a sandwich, but you laced it with laxatives. It doesn't, I guess it kind of counts as poisoning, but they don't die. They just need to run to the bathroom. How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison's consumed. So hold on one second. Sorry about that. I need to get some water. Also, it doesn't kill him, but makes people wish it did. Like, I'm dying. Wait, I'm dying, and my ass is dying. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping, and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. Oh yeah, like I read on the thing. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Which reminds me of Phoenix Wright, like Reno's case Descendant. He said poisoning is one of his like least favorite things because he was almost poisoned. So it's like he hates betrayal and poison. Death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. And it further degrades Soseki-san's alibi. The medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. Spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Gimme it!
For a roll, the court will add this record for thank you.
Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms.
Show me it. Show me.
Ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effect present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained for testing. Poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. No container for poison found on the scene. Assessed from victim's pocket watch that appears to have been broken. Wait, so Natsume went to his room at 9, left at 11. So then the dude had some leftover tea? Great. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands.
Hold it!
The argument still stands. This is what Mr. Natsume has been saying, isn't it? He's like, oops. The pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim would have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! My tea! Me and my tea are innocent! Sweet! And innocent, I tell you! I'm afraid, sir, that don't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. And as long as he did that, Mr. Shamspear could have locked the door after you'd gone. But no! We drank the tea straight away! The battle over whether Romeo or Juliet was stronger. That came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement?
No!
Yeah, he's... like, on one hand, I can understand why he's acting so jumpy since he's stressed, and being accused twice is not a good thing, but at the same time, yeah, it's not making it... he's not looking good. In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying, whoop, drink tea while it's hot! Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution.
I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion.
Wonder what they think of iced tea. Like, granted, I think this time period doesn't have iced tea yet, but later on.
On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt in this matter.
No! That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo. Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently. Yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. So we need to find inconsistency with what the inspector is saying. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. As I see, what we need to focus on is the poison and the tea. Yeah, let's replay that testimony. I have a theory. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Objection!
Oh, thank God. The argument still stands, you say? I think not. Come again. I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. A chrono what? What do you want about? According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. That's a big-ass time gap. That's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. Hehehe. The cocky pose. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? What? They had the same response.
The defense's argument is quite reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Geeks?
I will pour myself a cup of strychnine. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. You could just say you're hungry. How could it have happened, you ask? Glass number 1! I do hate to shatter illusions, but my... My... niece from downtown friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. Phantom? Danny Phantom? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30.
Objection!
Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there was a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot.
Objection!
And in my country, there's an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. What? Okay, uncultured American here. Isn't tea usually drank hot? Like, I don't know if tea... As far as I know, tea wasn't drank cold until much later. Like with until modern tech. At least, as far as I can tell, that's how it was. I'm probably way off. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities.
What sorts of possibilities, Counsel?
My ass. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Or, the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition.
You suggest this may have been a suicide, Counsel?
Objection!
Mr. Shamspeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted.
Objection!
Can we get his testimony? But he could be lying! Is he gonna bust out laughing?
Is something wrong, Lord Van Geeks?
I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Do you have supersonic hearing? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Who? Please tell me it's the victim. We need his testimony. Oh, it's out! Oh, it is him! Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow! There he is. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. William Shakespeare, everybody! It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Who, sir, are you?
William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? It's a good... Rinosuke, we need his testimony to pick apart. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him?
Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
Oh yeah, the open-mouthed smile. Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell, my own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence, in perfect English.
That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim.
This'll be fun. Ugh! The face! Who's the guy? So that's Mr. Shakespeare. Who's this? Like, I've already seen him twice already. But, yeah, I never got a name. I'm sure we caught a glimpse of the man before. State your names and occupations for the court, please. Popeye voice.
I work for the Lamont Gas Company, East End branch office.
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yeah, she's right. It's him. Oh, what's that? What's the man doing over there? Like he's trying to see Soseki-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, can we have a word? Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garadeb's house that morning. He's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with this case? Maybe he was checking for gas leaks.
So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember that sweet poison that didst cross me and cross mine innocent lips? I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the juror's mind, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me is a seraph, an angel indeed. What? Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily... What was that? Honest of heart! Like, it was like a body roll, or a forward body roll. As all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name? No, not at all. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. I'm just laughing at this dude. Oh. They're actually taking this seraph anagram idea seriously?
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But, my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare doing here? The gas man, I think.
What, me? Well now...
Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question. This is the guy? And moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar. No, I didn't quite say that. This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims, conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman? 31. 23! He doesn't look 23! Also, Adron B. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can Google the pun in his name, because I need to know. Because I think Meterman has something to do with the gas, but I don't know what Adron B is supposed to be. Okay. Found the wiki. The name Meterman and William... Wait. Adron B is a play on a drone B? Okay. So like a drone B meter man? Or maybe he's a drone and like I'm a drone but I don't know anymore.
Hang on, no. I'm just there.
I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question.
One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent. Oh! That's the only sound I hear when his mouth is like that. The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But very bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. I don't like him either. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else.
I was outside his bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella.
What were you doing waiting outside his room all night? Wait, what? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room?
That's right. Of course the bloke's window is all but blocked up in it. But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. Why?
The question is, sir.
Thank you. I was expecting that. Like, I imagine, if memory serves right, this game was originally for the Nintendo 3DS, so if you had a 3D on, that would have thrown you off.
Well now, that's because he's on my list.
What a piece of work is a man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? His buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious words. Ado? What was the name of the play? Much Ado About Nothing?
What do you say about me?
Oh, his bag looks like a bee. Like a bee's behind. Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more, nothing less.
Indeed, that is so.
And, as the testimony we have heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. God damn it.
Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial.
Really?
Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with a cross-examination.
Okay. Oh. To be clear, by neighbor, you're referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustachioed kneecaps visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo, did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony. And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means their discussion about who was stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shamspeare, did play the part of young Romeo, while my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I cannot imagine the scene. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Wait, what? Are you suggesting Romeo's stronger because Juliet's a girl? Who is stronger, Romeo or Juliet? Goku. Yes, I had heard of the Eastern art of Jiu-Jitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo? This is not helping her case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Honestly, I think the play would be a lot more interesting if at some point Juliet threw Romeo into a wall. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I would do thy bidding. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table.
Hold it!
Wait, I was not supposed to read the testimony. God damn it. Sorry. Let me stop you right there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What is he doing? I dabbled in a bit of belly dance in my younger years. This was not one of the moves. If you're trying to do snake arms, you're doing it a little wrong. Sorry, it's just kind of weirdly entertaining. It's Shamspeare. Boogie woogie woogie. The defendant had really put the poison in your tea. That 3-hour window of time is something you're gonna have to explain. Gladly. 'Tis an easy task. I'll let the I don't know the words. Macarena. What? I did drink the tea not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. What? Is your dancing supposed to provide something? Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
Bailiff, restrain the man. That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire, after all. Thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there be no time for fiery tea. Oh, they were so busy arguing they forgot the drinks. Mr. Shamspeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means.
Hold it!
So you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper? You starved? Ah, fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. And it's also, isn't that bad for your health? Granted, I'm not really the healthiest person. Sometimes I eat 2 meals a day because I'm lazy, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of health experts and common sense folk who would say, no, you have to eat 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sorry. I would that my belly were full. No more oft than the sun doth rise.
If this was mo-capped, I imagine the person playing Shamster had a lot of fun.
Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say.
Boing, 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 boing. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence is it that there doth not in... Wait, hence is there that there doth not in my chamber be the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. I don't remember seeing a dead rat. And now that I think about it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single player script anywhere. He's probably one of those dudes like, I have everything memorized. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Yes. That wasn't misleading at all. Could you turn around? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Spill the tea!
Hold it!
But the windows of that house have all been filled in. The whole thing about the bricks and the soap, though? A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap there, too. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I keep doing. As long as there's breath in my body! Yeah, that bag, his shoulder bag, it looks like a beast behind. What's with all the theatricals today? All the world's a stage, man. Out of interest, Mr. Mitaman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room?
No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned.
We can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poisonous container, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Ah yes, lucidly explained, counsel, thank you.
It really was. You can't argue with that. Round-backed? Is that slang?
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella. So you can't be sure it was the defendant?
Objection!
How many other short little round-backed... Nice cup of water, I'm thirsty, hold on. With a mustache, do you think there are in London? I don't know, dude, look around. Well, of course, it was only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice a mustache. They showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself. I keep fluctuating between British and Southern. And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shamspear drink tea?
Nah, sorry. Couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? What I did see was a silhouette of that little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
The Romeo versus Juliet. Now I'm imagining, like, pro wrestling, a WWE Romeo and Juliet. That would be interesting. I suppose... that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. See, she gets it! Mr. Meatman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question?
question. Gas man's honor.
Whoop! Natsume? Oh. Oh no! No, 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 no! Also, yeah, like, the Romeo and Juliet thing is pretty popular. It's like, Your Honor, I request that we all be involved in this debate.
My lord! Goodness me, yes, Mr. Foreman?
Oh no. I kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough.
Are you all with me?
Fuck! Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the court are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision.
Too right, we have! Are you all with me?
Yes! Help! No! The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination! To be honest, I was holding out a bit of help for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as he put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob-on with me tonight, the missus will blow her top. What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well, let the court be apprised of your decision.
I'm still in cross-examination mode!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings.
Guilty!
Fuck.
Guilty.
Why?
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Grandpa, why? All of you.
Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
I'm gonna put laxatives in your wine. So this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Can I do my thing? The summation? Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please. The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean? What about the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law I have? Oh yeah, the summation. The obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations, remember? Was it summation examination? Okay, that was it. I wasn't sure if I got the second word right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts. But here in the British court of law, if we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue.
This trial can't end now.
Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination. Why am I not surprised? And my learned 99 bottles of beer on the wall friend's inability to admit defeat. You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination.
I've done that twice already! In the previous game! Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense's counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with a summation examination, as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it!
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime.
The victim may not be well off, but he is a nobleman and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Oh, God.
Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid.
Oh, great. Just look at the accused by comparison. He's... Oh, my God. We believe William Shakespeare. Why? He's blind.
There's more evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
Oh, I really don't care, like, I just need this trial to end quickly.
3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know? Nothing at all.
We're not your age, though. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. Because he's blind!
It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shakespeare is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen.
Even though his last name is Sham-Spear. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements.
And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have registered at all.
Here goes! Let's not forget, I've pleaded with the jury on Toseki-san's behalf before, and it worked. You never know!
Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summation examination works.
I still remember. I'm probably gonna skip most of this since I already remember how it goes. Which is, I have forgotten some crucial detail. Perhaps I should hear this out to find out. Oh, I have the option. Okay. No need. Thanks, though.
Thank you for the kind offer, Mr. Sato. But I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already now. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary. Of course, I understand. And I'm sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at any point, you can turn to me for advice whenever you like.
Excuse me.
I'll be here for you.
The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding two that are contradictory and pitting the corresponding jurors against each other.
Fight, fight, fight! Without further ado, counsel, please proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord.
Turns around and slices William Shakespeare. Okay. I'm gonna press them, like, one by one down the line, and hopefully someone says something new.
Hold it!
Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? Oh, no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Hey! Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that's past the victim's lips that night was that Japanese man's tea. When you take the gasman's testimony into account as well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that makes sense. Let me be frank, I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Ain't that right? Well, yes, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening.
What's that? Elderly gent on the end here, you know. You'll have to speak up.
I said! But I really don't care about all this nonsense. I just need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury? Also, no take from the ladies? Alright, sir, I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. Humph. Oh wait, I'm dumb. Okay, I saw this. I thought it was some sort of wooden device, but it's his ear.
Hold it!
Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid?
No,
No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid. Notice me, senpai! So you say yet again. Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all. Splendid logic there, ma'am. Let's talk to the racist.
Hold it!
Oh, one of many racists. No, not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty. But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's... Okay, first reason, fuck you. Second reason, I know some evil villains have mustaches, but this is... like, this... open your mind. And he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion just 3 steps. 3 steps like a waltz, in fact. You're a dancer. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead. And you're on the wrong foot. No. There's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big chin man said next to him, innit? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Ew. That was... number 3 was a repeat. That's another 3 steps. Well, this really does seem more and more like a waltz, don't it? The prosecution will waltz his way to victory.
Hold it!
At least she admits that there could be evidence of him being a liar. Fraudsman? What do you mean by that? I like her earring. It really is a most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. What is? We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. What? Are you from the gas company? I'm sorry, you've lost me a little there. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company. Oh, no wonder she's fancy.
Good gracious, Altamont gas, you say?
Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. Yeah, tell that very true. We haven't been doing very well with gas. As I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree.
Absolutely, Queen Bee! Gotta be used properly! Ultimate gas is the best in the world, of course.
I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife. So, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching what Mr. Shamspear was up to in his room? I'm afraid there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go in order to steal our gas. How do you steal gas? So I really have no choice when the company identifies someone as a possible fraudsman. But to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night, we're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Shamspear is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public. Whoa! She has a bee umbrella! The whole gas company is bees! You can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You have noticed the public gallery in here, right?
The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words, were I to let them penetrate the skin? But seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angels in song.
We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. Bees! And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic height in an Altamont gas explosion.
Maybe don't talk about explosions.
So Mr. Shamspear has been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement. My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping the thief apart you enjoyed?
A little before that.
Yes, of course. This could be it. This could shift the balance. Victim puts on a fine performance, but in reality he's a common thief of my company's gas. Well, let me press everyone
Hold it!
and then take care of that. Keep talking about needing to take home some money. What's that all about? Finish loss. That's what it's all about. What's that? I'm talking about the derby at Hyde Park, aren't I? It was the Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it? Oh, you lost money to gambling. A derby? It was a dead cert, that's the thing. Couldn't lose, so I took my wife. No wonder she's pissed. But then, that helpless old man went and did the unthinkable. That stupid finish loss. Oh dear. I think it's clear what happened, isn't it? This is the day the missus used her savings for a trip down the pub. So come on, let this business lie now. Just give it up. No, let's not give it up.
Hold it!
What do you really mean by that, sir?
Well, I'm not one to boast, but I get up at 5 every morning, I do.
5? You're a really early riser then. The sun isn't even up yet at that time.
What's that now?
I said you're an early riser.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to while away the hours in the evening reading books as well. But by about 2 in the morning, I'm usually too tired to go on.
You only get 3 hours of sleep? He sleeps at 2 in the morning and gets up at 5? He only gets 3 hours!
What's that there?
Only 3 hours of sleep each night!
That's right, you see. 3 hours of missing time, like I said. It's not much, is it?
It's enough for your it's not enough for your health. This isn't helping. The key to summation examinations is identifying contradictions between jurors' statements. Once I found 2 jurors whose statements can't coexist, I need to pit them together. And hopefully when they see that what they're saying doesn't make sense, they'll change their leaning. Yes, and if you're able to change the minds of majority of the jurors, this trial will continue. But conversely, if you're unable to do that, the judge will declare the trial over and move to adjudication. I can't let that happen. Somehow or other I have to turn this trial around. I think I know just who to pit. For that, let me save. Now that I think about it, I remember there was a sort of meter in Shamspeare's room. So is he putting like this thing for getting gas? Does he put fake money in there? Or fake something? Unless he's putting ice in there, hence the puddle, but I don't think seems a little too far.
Objection!
Yay! Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 1. What are you yelling about, lad? I presume you've heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamont Gas. Well, yes. The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, he, in fact, turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard him say as much. It's true, we don't have evidence as such. Just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know?
What?
You heard me. Seeing as his operation has already been compromised. I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever I say, my lady. Gasman's order.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. If I could show that Mr. Shamspeare was a liar, you assured me that you would consider your decision about the defendant's guilt. Yes, I did say that. As a man of honor, I'll hold to it. As I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me?
Oh, well, yes. Dang, just the one? Now we found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you've all been saying. So if this means you'll recap a few points, that would suit me down to the ground.
Oh no, I don't have any part of this. I want this trial over and done with. Woo! In that case, I shall change my leaning. So, Mr. William Shamspeare, if that's your real name, we of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of a man you really are. That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory!
Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense's summation examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and order the trial to continue.
Glass number 2! You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shamspeare. I know you can hear us, buddy. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find that they are unable to trust you, the victim. This is not a hear no evils, speak no evil moment. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. So God mend me, I do swear. This gas man speaketh that which concerns him most, naught but gas, naught but thin air. It burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul. Oi, what do you say? Also, I'm just noticing the bag. Aside from the whole, like, a bumblebee bite, the little belt latch thing, it could kind of work as a stinger.
Do I take it, Mr. Shamspeare, that you deny the allegation of gas thievery?
Most heartily, my lord. Hast thou forgot? I am as a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily, honest of heart.
Ah, you flowery-mouthed pompous beanpole! Just because I haven't got the evidence yet.
Mr. Shamspeare, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom. Are you listening?
It is my considered opinion that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on the case. No! No! However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness,
are you listening?
I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas and this case are unrelated. Juror number 4. Yes? Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man had been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. Don't we, worker?
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gasman's honor.
Very well then, we will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, has been stealing gas.
Yes, my lord, I do my pleasure on the ultimate gas nick.
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Or are you taking the stand? Ooh! Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him, in a supervisory role if you wouldn't mind.
Whoa! Oh yes, honey! Yeah!
Simp? I don't know.
Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting you mock my words.
Sure, we will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont gas, my lady. We're just clearest in the world.
Do you think the gas has gone to his head? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee. He's a worker bee.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and made-up money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept threepenny bits each coin, giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet, the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
I'm just imagining the umbrella goes flying. So he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
Pray forgive the discourtesy. The relevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice.
What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Geeks?
I mean, Judge, this case is about poisoning, not gas.
Did the mustachioed nectarine poison the gangling excuse for an actor? Poison or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet, now we must listen to this. Abhorrence. Class number 3! Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance. This could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead.
Ow! Ooh, free wine!
Do what you will. Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood.
Yeah, he does.
An attempted poisoning and an incident of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. But no wonder. The truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. And the first step to uncovering it will be to establish just who this guy really is. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure it has to do with that puddle below the gas meter, but not too sure how it would relate. Just yet, anyway. Also, is that an S on your jacket?
Hold it!
So, does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters?
That I do. I'm gonna try and catch people when they're in. Then ask permission to come inside and do my business.
Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that of Mr. Shamspeare?
Well, it's interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his mirror. I mean, how the pair of them survived the witness beyond me, it really is. Candles?
Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books.
And then when he's finished reading them, he burns them for what?
You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters then.
Not much to say, really, but as you wish.
Hold it!
So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters? They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes? So if a 3-pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people use about 3 coins in a night.
Bit more than that, usually. They have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is.
Thinking about it, Soseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Ah yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room. And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company?
The worker bees get it. Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meter of coins.
I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part.
Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean?
Yes, exactly right.
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks! He's been pitching gas off us for ages!
And you've examined Mr. Shamspeare's room, I take it?
Naturally. He took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume.
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamspeare Special.
That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3 penny.
But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation.
And I opened up the money box and found it bare. Hey! What's with your eyes?
You what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, that smarmy spoiler is.
Ha.
I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? None.
Stop choking yourself!
Not a trace of it being jammed open anywhere. Not a single sign. And what's happening to my salary as a result? Down about 3 shillings, that's what.
A life-threatening situation. In a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
I'm still got it.
Oh.
Right here.
No wonder they call you Meterman.
I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
Wait a minute. Is that the same one? Because it's right there. Unless they ripped it out and replaced it. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Unless... What's this?
Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo?
It's just here. There's a little hole. Do you see it? Unless coins are small enough to drop out of there. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I say.
So you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspeare?
Possibly. Seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it.
Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside.
Yeah, but there's no way a coin could fit through there.
That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious.
Part of me is like, what if he had, he had used ice cubes, but I'm trying to, my brain is just jumping everywhere. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would he have ice? He's poor. That's a very sturdy looking padlock. And the money box is sealed with beeswax? They are bees. Wait, the green beeswax? So if Mr. Sholmes were to get to any mischief, he found out immediately. Mr. Naruhodo, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would do. I don't know. You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company wouldn't want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs. It does feel a little over the top. Okay, so the green is the beeswax? Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter.
The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, and the collection agency has the only key.
Okay, I'm gonna press everything and then bring up the box. There's only one key for all your meters?
Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault at our main office. But even if someone had somehow managed to get a hold of a key, we know if the coin box had been opened. How? The beeswax. I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens. Would you care to explain?
Well now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. When I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it.
A seal? Like the sort of thing you put on an envelope? I thought I was about to say seal, like, or
Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal.
Now, in the case of Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either.
So that would mean Mr. Shamspeare somehow managed to steal coins from the inside without opening it? It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Hold it!
How do you know that he's been using gas?
Well now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room more than a few times. And on every single occasion, his lamps have been blazing, his stove pounding. It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says,
Get thee to a nunnery! Hamlet indeed!
I can wring the bloke's neck. I get all hot under collar, but still, every time I open up the flaming mirror, it's empty! Yeah, he's robbing me of my salary. Yeah. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice? My head! Why is my head a bobblehead?
But how can Mr. Shamspeare possibly be stealing the money? The simple explanation is right before your eyes. Eh? A toast to your eventual realization that the gasman could be an accomplice. What? You what? Please stop doing that with your eyes.
Good lord, eminently plausible indeed.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself? The more I see Lady Altamont, the more pretty she is. Also, I imagine that end of her umbrella is sharp as hell.
Oh please, Lady Quimpy, I'm a faithful worker.
Besides, the money us gasmen collected doesn't tally with how much gas he's been used. Eh, you don't got pay! So you'd be stealing money only to have the same amount taken. Clearly that makes no sense. Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war?
Yeah, stop that! I'm not gonna stop the hornet's nest!
You're bees! Wait, are you bees or hornets? If I went stealing from the company, I'd be finished. It would seem there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim. Because Mr. William Shamspeare is innocent. 5? I've lost count. It's either glass 4 or 5. Pray forgive me if that shadow summoned illusion, my learned necklace that is very shiny. Friend was clearly under. I certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looked like it's been taking place. According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume. I know, it does seem that way, but the fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered this at least once. Really? Oh, cases that are interlinked. It might seem that two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact, they're intimately connected. Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance. Perhaps, but we can't be sure of that yet. The Altamont Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspeare so earnestly. There has to be something to it. How has he been managing to steal their gas? Not tampered with. Are you sure?
Objection!
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of being tampered with. What?
Ah! I'm over that thing! He's staring right into my soul. I'm down here. There's nothing wrong with it.
In that case... Hee. What do you have to say about the small hole in the bottom?
What?
You're right. You're quite right. There's a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspear secretly opened up this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised, but why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a father through that.
Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of details? Well, what I specifically like to know is... it's only the hole in the bottom, so I don't think dismantling it would help. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not.
So, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a threepenny bit?
The weight? I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness.
So it is the weight, in a way.
A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit.
I see.
It's clearly been very well thought out.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord.
Wait. I just realized something. There is something that's the exact diameter. This... whatever was here.
Or 3/4 of an inch. Do you think? We did find this up at the scene, didn't we? There were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. I'm sure that's when we found it. There was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle. I remember it clearly. Yeah, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? But what about that puddle? Unless it's either spilled tea or something else. Excuse me.
Objection!
Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that right? Yes, that is correct. Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating Mr. Shamspear's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as a threepenny bit. What was it? The item in question is this!
What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap!
It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say.
Ah, boy. Use your eyes and hands. Look at the bottom. Flip it around.
Got it!
Got it!
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Huh? Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Get away!
Does anyone here present have in their possession a threepenny bit? Quickly, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
Ow, ow, don't throw them at me!
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits...
Ta-da!
My word, it couldn't be more snug.
Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded.
Well, I don't believe it.
Oh, even her dress is bee-themed. Class number 6. So your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has intensive connection to the theft of gas? Indeed it does! The depression in the soap was clearly made by a thruppenny bit.
Much concur, at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape.
Wait. Okay, I know the guy... Okay, so Shamspear, I'm assuming maybe he was getting this... There was soap in the bar, in the bricks over his window, so... Either he's somehow buying them somewhere and someone's delivering them to him with those impressions, or he gets those bars of soap. He makes those impressions himself. So maybe with candle wax or something that melts, and then it's done. And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. Yeah, that's what I said. You can make fake coins in no time. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamspear has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now if I follow the chain of thought, it's gonna bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. Wait. Maybe he used another one of those coins to set off the gas. To make it look like... Maybe to make it look like he had someone else in? I don't know.
Look, this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear.
I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There's one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air. Exactly. And the meter here gives it away.
What on earth?
There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
That's your assertion, Counsel. The defense will identify it at once.
This is... I thought I had to point to the picture, but... This... I'm genuinely lost. Is it the hole? Right tools. All the way through to the inside, though it's hard to see that unless you look closely. You couldn't possibly extract a coin through such a small hole, could you? No, I suppose not, but then the question remains, why would someone go to the effort of making a hole here? Would this be it? We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window.
Outside?
Yes, outside. Where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found the soap.
What? I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is What? Oh, okay, so I was right about the ice thing, but in a different way. It wasn't that, like... Instead of just having ice on hand, it's he used the freezing cold.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shamspear has been leaving soap like this outside his window each evening, filled with what? Were they? Oh wait, no. So he takes the soap, makes the impression, puts a little water in it, lets it freeze, brings it back in, puts it in the machine. Filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them to the Gasmia, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning back into water, and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the other side of the meter. What if he didn't make that hole? Like, if it filled up with water, would that... I wonder if that would jam the machine. That's how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Hey, Shamspear, you got anything about this? Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water. Yep. That's right. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless? I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. And if you want to get mad at someone, get mad at Shamspear, not me. Evidence. Sorry? I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability. Oh, the puddle! The puddle in the picture! Finally, I can use it! Very well, Lady Altamont. If you like evidence, I'll provide it. What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you actually have it? I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little all the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. Yeah, this one. The puddle there.
Take that!
This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. And it clearly shows the remnants of this crime carried out by Mr. Shamspear. What remnants? I have to point it out. Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspear's room. Now look at the floor underneath it. What is that? Some kind of grubby stain. Also, wait, are buckets expensive? Almost certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Huh. If one coin gives about 2 hours of gas usage and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. And there's further evidence, too. Mr. Shamspear is slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. Oh yeah, the soap is frozen, so he has to break it in half to get the coin. You're right.
It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
Oh boy. Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but... Are you daft? Certainly not. He didn't beat around the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamspear was found with a fork in his hand.
The meal of soap is sounding increasingly like...
Do you mean to say he was using that fork to... Oh, he was using to break the soap. Yep. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious!
Why model number 2? That gallery's gonna sue him. Lord Van Zeeks. I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. I hope I pronounced that right.
What is the meaning of this, Counsel?
Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Oh yeah, as a whole, like, what does this have to do with the poisoning?
Well,
That Mr. William Shamspeare is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable.
yeah, that's exactly it.
Very well, let us assume the man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? We know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison.
Fuck.
And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise.
Yee!
Even if William Shamspeare is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it.
Sorry, I'm trying to think. Is there a possibility of maybe someone laced what? Somehow he got water and strychnine mixed up, put it into the coin thing, and then the soap broke. It's like, oh no, it's melting! Oops, I'm dead.
Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication.
No! Or not!
Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Fuck that! That's how you respond!
Mr. Naruhodo,
What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying?
this isn't over. The defense will not rest. What?
But, counsel, you've successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shamspeare. What more is there to discuss?
There's still the poisoning. Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established. What are you trying to say, my nitrogen friend? At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to a lack of evidence. JoJo pose! But the situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witness to take the stand. Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Trial, that's what!
When you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider. Namely... Okay. Worker B already established that that there was only one person. So, oh god. I feel like these two are roughly the same thing. It's like, was there another visitor and were they responsible? Oh yeah, we still haven't tested it. Like, granted there's no tea left, but maybe? We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. But that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison.
Objection!
As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene. And a particular piece of evidence proves it, the teacups.
Objection!
Ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
I vaguely remember there being one impression that was red. Maybe that was it? Oh, did they say something different? Come on, Skip. Some sort of reddish medallion. Okay, so assuming Shamspear took the rest of the tea, like made it and put it into those bars of soap and then shoved it out in the cold. Oh, I guess he was planning on using those the next day. Okay, either the bar of soap or the teacup. Like, would these count as traces? Or something to examine? Hey!
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Miss Natsume's tea?
Fuck. Okay, the teacups was a bad idea. So it is the bar of soap. Please!
Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soup doing lined up? Soap doing lined up on a ledge? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discover the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yeah. But there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you say?
They were red. Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red? No. You mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea.
What?
I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in the trial. Drink tea while it's hot? I did take some freshly brewed tea. Public water pump outside always free. Oh!
Oh yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamspear having no running water to use, Oh! Was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume to make the fake coins.
My word!
There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated. That's right, we only borrowed 1 of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid in a bar of soap, outside Mr. Shamspeare's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even 1 drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contained strychnine at all. You smug! Nap time! My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene. And the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains poison.
Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend the scene at once!
Yes, my lord, understood.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being.
Wait, for the day or just like a recess?
I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks.
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow.
Really?
The prosecution...
Oh, okay. I forgot the test would take a long time.
Prosecution and defense may conduct further investigation as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through this.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Ugh.